All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music in real time for a few real people out there just like you and just like me. All right, my favorite band from the UK continues to send me music. This is the Big Wolf Band, live in Howlin'. Thanks to the band for keeping me well stocked with new releases. They told me a new live album was coming out. I also own this one, thanks to a shipment from yesterday or the day before. This is a Rebels story by the Big Wolf Band, and the one that for me got it all started, which is Be Free by Big Wolf Band. Great music from the UK, blues and rock, and well produced and well written songs and well played songs. So yeah, a lot of great music to choose from there. Check it out. Check out the Big Wolf Band. Another legendary musician has chimed in about what bands are doing these days, and we learn the real reason Mick Mars left Motley Crue. And of course, it was reported that he was not doing well physically. He's got a disease, and people are just saying that his health was going downhill. But legendary drummer Carmine Appice was recently interviewed, and during the chat, Appice reflected on his friendship with guitarist Mick Mars and his departure from Motley Crue. As previously reported, Mick Mars had retired from touring due to worsening health issues and has been replaced with John Five. Mars still remains as a member of the Crue, but he will not participate in any touring activities. When asked about his thoughts on Mars' departure from the Crue, Appice said, "Well, I tell you what I've been talking to Mick about. He told me when I was on the stadium tour, I was not happy. Basically, everything was on tape. It was all planned out and ultimately a lot of crap." And Mick is a pretty good player. And so to not let him loose and play the way he wants, that was never going to work for him. The truth is that everything has been weird for a while with Motley Crue. No mention, by the way, of Tommy Lee here, which I think would have been appropriate, but I guess, Carmine felt like he didn't actually have to talk about that this was bad enough. Mick didn't like that everything was on tape. He told me that people that came to see it could tell that it was all pre-recorded and that everything was on tape. Wow. So he goes on to say, when you play in a stadium like that, you can hear a lot of things come to the monitors or what doesn't. And with Vince's vocals, the bass, the drums, guitars, and all the other stuff, it was obvious that it was all on tape. Wow. So he's basically saying here, including Vince Neil, his vocals are all on tape. I mean, maybe they should have found some better vocals, because I hear all the time how Vince, his voice is very thin compared to the old days. So maybe they made it more realistic, right? That nobody would believe that he could sound like his 1987 self. Carmine goes on to say Mick was pissed off and said, "I can play these things. I want to play them. I don't want to make believe I'm playing them." So I think that's one of the reasons why he said, "I'm done." Sure, the disease he has doesn't help, and it doesn't make life easy on tour, but Mick can play all the licks if he was allowed to. He had his own means of travel. This is interesting. So Mick was not traveling with the rest of the guys. He would travel alone on a bus while the other guys flew everywhere. He said these guys are pissing their money away flying to every gig. They were all busy trying to be rock stars, and Mick just wanted to play the music. I like Mick Mars. Put him on the good list, right? Mick wasn't interested in wasting time and money flying everywhere, so he traveled by bus. Their lifestyles are different than his. And so there were a lot of disagreements. I think he was just done. They were supposed to have done their last tour, and then they came back. Then they did the stadium tour, and that was apparently supposed to be their last. So when they came back again, he said, "You can do it. I'm not going out with you for this." When asked about his thoughts on John 5, Carmine responded, "He's a good player, but if they're on tape, it doesn't matter." He goes on to say, "It's sad because when Motley Crue first went out with Ozzy," he's probably talking a long time ago, back in the 80s, he says, "they were smoking. I lived out in LA and I'd see them perform on the Strip. They'd walk in with their makeup and they looked like the New York Dolls. A lot of people said, they'll never make it. That look is over." But a year later, they blew up and did it all themselves. They put their posters all over town and they were selling out arenas quickly. Then they got a record deal with Tom Werman producing. And that's when Ozzy caught wind of them and asked them to open for us. So Carmine must have been hanging out with Ozzy at that point. And he goes to say here that we knew they were really good. And that's why Ozzy asked them to open up for his amazing band. So there you have it. The real reason Mick Mars left Motley Crue, it wasn't because of Tommy Lee. It was because everything is on tape. And, you know, the people that want to go see a show and just pretend that, yeah, this is just like it's always been. This is the crazy stuff for me. It's like, why would you do that? And then Mick Mars is saying people can hear this. They can hear this is being piped in. Carmine says on tape. He's an old timer like me, right? We would say, yeah, it's on tape. And people would go, tape? What's tape? They're just piping it in. It's a file. It's a digital file. Everything has a digital file, and then they can manipulate those files. It's just sad. So if you're going to go see Motley Crue, keep that in mind. I wouldn't spend a nickel to go see Motley Crue. You could pay me to go see him. Maybe I would go so I could say how bad it was. I don't know. And then you've got to deal with all of the scenery that you're going to have to take in. I don't know. Some guys are going to be like, yeah, man, that's why I want to go see Motley Crue. Yeah, you know what? At a certain point, for me anyway, I'm kind of done with that aspect of 1987. Sometimes you just grow out of things and you realize what's more important. Mick Mars is saying it's about the music. And here's some good music. Big Wolf Band live in Howland, or not Howland, but just Howland. Man, the English language today getting a little tedious for me. And also this, really like this one too, A Rebel's Story. And again, the one that got it started, Be Free. That's the first one I got. I don't know if they came out in that order, but a great band from the UK. Still playing it live, and I bet you they're not using any tapes, you know, to do their performances. So that's what I'd rather go see. Doesn't have to be the most popular thing in the world. It just has to be great music, and that's it. So there you have it, folks. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We really need to kind of smack the algorithm around a bit. It hasn't been behaving nicely. So I give you permission to do that. That means you like the videos, you share the videos, try to like the videos. I know a lot of people don't like me, but try to like the videos. What else? Watch the videos, put them on repeat play. Subscribing is a good strategy if you haven't subscribed to the channel. What else is there? Oh, yeah. Patreon for $1 a month if you want to support the channel. We've got some very loyal patrons that are there every day faithfully. And then YouTube memberships, which are very easy to do. Again, the only reason I ask is because I do this every day, and this is kind of what I do. I know it's pathetic, right? But this is what I do, and I appreciate all of you people. And as usual, I will see you soon.